Every living thing that crawls, flies, or squats in the mud wants to kill you and eat your eyes for jujubes. The first person to DM us, but it was aliens, on Instagram, will not only get a shout out on the podcast, but they will also get to pick the quote. You have to name both the film and the character. Welcome to But It Was Aliens, the extraterrestrial podcast where we probe deeply to determine if it really was aliens or if the wall has been pulled over our eyes for the safety of all humanity. You are welcome. I'm Granville Moonwalker, and I'm joined by my partner in ET Mystery, Kevin Grey Beard. How are you today?
Why do you keep trying to give me a beard lately?
Because you have a beard.
I don't.
We just need to establish that it's grey.
I've got like a millimetre of stubble.
That is not a millimetre of stubble. That's like 13 inches of grey beard.
It's making me uncomfortable. You're staring so intently at my mouth.
Grey beard. So we are two former MIBs from Division 13. We were kicked out for asking too many questions. Too many questions. What questions did you ask, Kev?
Well, since the last time I got kicked out, I have transformed from llama form back into my stage 1 form, wizard / grey, or is that a wizard? Since that time...
Was that a question that you asked?
Hey, you've just interrupted me mid-flow. You should never stop someone mid-stream. It can get messy.
I also heard you're not meant to cross the streams.
If you interrupt me again, you're going to get covered in my stream.
Continue.
Division 13, yes. So I decided not to ask where the toilet was. I found my way around the place, but then I got hungry. I asked where the hands were.
Got the munchies
My tummy had the rumblies.
that only hands could satisfy. Well, welcome back to our fellow probers.
Hold up. Why did you get kicked out this time? I didn't see you there. I lasted a little bit longer, I think.
Let's not go into that. Welcome back to our fellow probers. Welcome to our first time probers, and welcome to those that will never probe again. You will probe again. Today's probe takes us on a journey back to 1994 in Rua, Zimbabwe, on September 16th, 1994, where some school children witnessed the landing of an alien spacecraft.
So what year was it?
It's 1994. Pulp Fiction has been released. John Travolta's looking confused. We learned that in Amsterdam, it's a Royale with cheese. And Zed's dead, baby. Zed's dead. Friends was aired for the first time that year.
Oh, shut up. You've never watched Friends.
Never said I did. I just said it was aired for the first time.
How can you comment on that?
I can let people know that that was the first time it was aired. You're doing something with your elbows right now, and I have no idea what it is. Still no idea. I'm guessing,
You're a crap bag.
I'm guessing it's from Friends, but screw that show. So, Friends had been aired for the first time.
I'm fine.
If you interrupt me one more time.
Let's make fajitas.
And we also had the Battle of the Bands between blah 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 between Oasis and Blur. Blah.
Blah.
P.S. Blur over Oasis.
Ooh, interesting dilemma. You couldn't name more than 2 songs by each band.
No, but I've heard... You know when an album gets played so much? So
Yes.
around that time period, my cousin really liked
I'd imagine
both bands.
what,
And I just
Oasis
preferred-
and Blair.
And Blur. I just preferred the music from Blur to Oasis.
All right.
I've always been more of an underdog guy as well, so, you know, Blur were always the underdogs. Let's go for Blur.
Arguable who was... yeah, that's a tough one. I'm thinking back at the time because Blair came out with like Park Life that was massive, didn't they? Mm-hmm. And Oasis had like cigarettes and alcohol. It was their second... Was it definitely maybe? It was their second album anyway that had like Wonderwall and Don't Look Back in Anger and whatnot, which really took off. So were they the
Would it
underdogs?
surprise you if I said I'd never heard those songs by Oasis?
You've heard Wonderwall.
I have heard Wonderwall. Just wanted to hear your reaction.
Blair.
Blair.
It's a debate. Still raging, like the console wars.
Ooh.
SNES over.
Which ones?
SNES over Mega Drive for me, all day long. SNES.
Mega Drive over SNES?
You're just being confrontational
No,
again.
I'm not. I had a Mega Drive.
SNES were the best console ever released! Released!
PS2 is...
I had more fun with my SNES, and I had a PS2, so I'm allowed to say that. Biatch! All about the SNES. Link to the past.
Tables, ladders, and chairs. Oh my.
Didn't we play that more on Xbox 360?
No.
Yes.
Can you remember Wolfie?
Yes, we did. Wolfie, was he not N64?
No. It was one of the Smackdowns.
Was it?
He was as short as you could be, was as skinny as you could be, but had one arm which was as fat as it could be. And he had a body slam as a finisher. And he won.
It's a brutalizer.
Anyway, enough of our childhood for now. So teachers of a school in Rua were amazed when they were alerted by the students of the school that a UFO had landed on the grounds. These kids were aged between 5 to 12. Now I know exactly what you're thinking. These kids are having the teachers on. Let's play a game. Let's play a trick on the teachers.
Would you like to play a game?
Hee hee hee, ha ha. Sorry,
Cool.
what was
No,
that?
you go on. I'll jump in after your next sentence.
We know
We know not who they are. We know not why they came.
We know not
Not.
to ever believe kids, the lying little shits. We've heard of the real tale of the boy who cried blah, 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 blah. Can't talk.
Do you want a beer?
Maybe. We've heard of the real tale of the boy who cried wolf, the lying witch in the wardrobe.
The lying witch in the wardrobe.
Yeah.
How'd that go?
It's a little girl that was in the wardrobe. She's a witch. She'd always lie, telling people there's a passage through the wardrobe. Then, as they enter, she'd send them to Narnia to be eaten by Aslan, the tyrant king lion.
What sort of childhood did you have?
A great childhood. I read all the proper nursery books and.
That wasn't a book. Someone's told you that because I've read that book. That's not how that book goes.
No, you've read the fake version of that book.
Then where can I acquire the real
you've
one?
read the PC version.
Does the author go by the name of Granville?
No. G.L. Lewis.
G.L. Moonwalker. I've forgotten my trail of thought now. I was going to ask, oh yeah, this started pretty much at the end, surely. An alien has landed in the playground, but there's no build-up. Once again, you've just jumped in at the end.
But have I?
Haven't you?
No.
Yes.
Can I continue? You're going to keep interrupting me, you little bitch.
I'm more interested in this lying witch in the wardrobe now.
Well,
What was she lying about?
well, she'd tell them that when they went through, there's riches.
But wouldn't that be the little kid who was...
all the toys in the world that they wanted? It was all there.
Okay.
They could talk to animals and frolic around with animals.
Pardon?
Not in a disgusting way. But they could talk to animals and just, swing through trees with monkeys and stuff. But as they went through,
So...
snap.
Aslan!
Neck broken by the tyrant Lion King. King Lion. I think if I say Lion King, everyone's just going to assume it was Mufasa.
The child...
I mean, he was a twat as well.
The witch child.
Mufasa. I mean, Scar's the real king.
Team Scar.
He was ousted.
My gosh. So...
And that's how the film went, wasn't it?
He was ousted.
Yeah.
Not Scar.
He was usurped by Mufasa and Simba.
Wasn't Scar usurped by Simba? Yeah, I don't remember... Because Mufasa was on the throne to begin with. I don't know that.
Oh, but he died.
He was usurped by Scar, who was himself usurped by Simba.
That's not how it went.
Simba. So, the little witch child took children into a dark room to show them her passage.
No. She merely explained what was through the door. Wardrobe. Wardrobes have doors. Let's get back on topic.
We probably should.
What these children described is quite chilling. They said that they'd seen 3 objects disappearing and reappearing in different locations before finally landing in a brushy area not too far from the kids themselves. This area hadn't been cleared yet, so it was off limits to the children.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
I literally have no idea why my Siri has just gone off there.
Shut the up, Siri.
Hey Siri, little. See, I told you, mine is a diva.
It really is.
Did you say brushy area? What's a brushy area?
So like a bush.
Like a bushy area.
Like a dusty bush. Like when there's just a group of bushes over there and they all look just unmanaged.
Like they need a brush.
Yes. Over there by the hilly brush.
Ah! That's it! Where were we? I've forgotten again.
If you stopped laughing at the brush.
The brushy area, actually, I think that's no laughing matter. Garden maintenance is serious business.
Well, the children said that they saw a small man around 1 metre in height that appeared on top of one of the spacecrafts. He was described as having a scrawny neck, long black hair and huge eyes. I think they may have caught a glimpse of young Marilyn Manson. However, when the man noticed the children, he disappeared and reappeared behind the UFO, which subsequently took off and vanished. What are your thoughts, Greybeard?
I hadn't really put those two concepts together until the end of your description.
What, Marilyn Manson?
I was kind of just thinking, okay, we've got some sort of strange... Like, if I saw Marilyn Manson, young or old, outside my school, I'd be thinking that's a little bit weird. He's like a witch alien. Do you know what I mean?
So, what you're saying is these kids saw exactly what went through your head just now.
A witch alien. Not quite one, not quite the other. A little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
Has a penis and vagina.
How do you know this?
Looks the type. So yeah, I was thinking like he sounded like a bit of a creepy man, perhaps going to flash the children. But then I remembered that the UFO was also involved.
I was about to say, what would you... If it was, what kind of vehicle do you think he drove in on? But then he didn't drive, he landed. So, spacecraft, not a weird flasher. Well, as you can imagine, the smaller children were scared shitless. Which, I mean, can you blame them? You're outside happily playing and then Marilyn Manson shows up. However, the reason the kids were scared shitless is because they believe the small man to be a demon that was sent to eat them. A demon known as the Tokoloshi. Have you ever heard of the Tokoloshi, Kev?
Oh yeah, me and Tokoloshi have been out for dinner loads of times. What the hell is a Tolokoshi?
Glad you asked.
Tokoloshi. What was it?
Tokoloshi.
Tokolosh. The Tokolosh. Oh, I know the Tokolosh. What's the Tokolosh?
They're described as small humanoid-like creatures, and they are very malevolent.
Oh.
They're said to creep into people's homes and cause havoc while they sleep, from scaring you whilst you sleep, leaving scratch marks on you during the night, and even going as far to choke you to death while you sleep.
Okay, that's making more sense as to why they're scared.
And they particularly like to terrorise children. I think at the moment the sound of it sounds like something the parents would make up to
tell the children to keep them under control,
keep them in check,
rein these swines in.
So these creatures are called upon by those with magical powers, i.e. witches, from their wardrobes.
No. See? Witch alien. That's exact. I was so right. Once again. This is getting beyond the joke.
So they are called upon to cause chaos and havoc in communities. Hermione is out here punishing little bitches for calling her a muggle. She's got Harry and Ron wrapped around her little finger.
Can't blame them.
Got them out Expelliarmusing. Is that the name of the...
Expelliarmus is correct, sir, yes.
Okay. Glad I got that right.
If you had got it wrong, I would have crucioed your ass.
What does that mean?
It's a dark curse.
Because originally...
It means pain!
I thought you said you were going to crochet my ass. I was about to say, since when have you learned how to crochet?
I can hammer when I need to.
I've known you 20 years.
Hammer your ass!
And I've never seen you crochet a thing. You do know crochet as a form of knitting.
I was thinking of Crockett. Crockery.
Crockett and Tubbs. Well, while they're out Expelliarmus...
I'm gonna knit your ass. New catchphrase.
I'm gonna knit your ass.
No more hashtag probing over here.
Well, while those three are out Expelliarmusing little kids,
yeah,
they've got them making sweatshop scarves for the Hufflepuff. Is it Hufflepuff?
Yes, correct.
Okay, glad I got that right. Tick number 2.
Hufflepuff, Slytherin.
I only remember the winners personally, which is clearly House Slytherin. No one
Gryffindor.
Who?
Gryffindor, sir.
Don't remember them.
That's who all three of the characters you've mentioned were within.
So they lost. Slytherin.
Well, ultimately it was Potter's film, wasn't it? So I'd argue that he won. He certainly won the Triwizard Tournament.
The losers.
He won the Triwizard.
Only
Biatch.
remember
Don't make me knit your ass.
Slithering. So therefore, if I only remember House Slytherin, the rest must have lost. No one remembers second place, Kev.
Did Voldemort win or lose?
Clearly won.
He died. How is that clear?
Harry's dead. Think you'll find?
No.
Yeah. What book have you been reading?
7.
Been reading fake books again. Fake news. So the children ran to the tuck shop. Let's get that back on track. Out of this wizarding world where somehow you believe Potter lives.
Potter? You even sound like Malfoy. You punk.
So the little children, free from their scarf sweatshops, ran to the tuck shop to get help. They ran straight to the tuck shop. Tuck shop lady? What do you call them?
Cashier? Customer service assistant? Ma'am?
Let's call her Deborah.
I was waiting for an R name.
So the children ran straight to Deborah to get her to help. But she knew what these little trolls were like. She turns her back and they jack all her sweets. Penny chews, sherbet dib dabs, flying saucers. Oh, using a flying saucer.
Oh,
yep. Using a flying saucer to rob flying saucers. You little bastards.
Did you put lol in your research notes on purpose this time?
Just to get you.
You swine.
Well, she didn't fall for their shit.
Sherbet.
When the kids returned to class, they were completely freaked out and couldn't stop talking about what they had seen, and that the little men looked a bit like Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson looks like Marilyn Manson then.
Well, from the descriptions, I thought Marilyn Manson until I saw a bit later in my research where the kids said they looked like Michael Jackson. Then, if you think about it,
there are similarities.
There are, yeah. I was trying to think.
Let's not beat around the brush.
The hilly brush. So the teachers had told them to shut up.
Shut the frick up. Yeah.
They knew what little kids were like.
Yes.
And the classes proceeded.
Indeed.
However, the next day, parents were ringing the school as they were worried about why their kids were so terrified, and that the kids had told them that they'd seen aliens.
They seen that Tokolshi, was it, or something?
Well, they thought it was the Tokoloshi.
Do you know what? We should side probe that one day.
I was thinking the same thing. I've kept a lot of research on the Tokoloshi. So the parents wanted to know why their kids were spooked.
Because they've seen Michael Jackson. That's scary enough.
Michael Jackson?
Let alone crossed with Marilyn Manson. Gosh, imagine. 2 of the scariest people on the planet to a child. For very different reasons.
Do you reckon Jim? No. Rolf Harris? Jimmy Savile?
Savile certainly would put the fear of the Lord into...
The fear of Savile.
fear of Savile into anyone. Jackson was never confirmed, was it? It's always just suspected allegations. And yeah, I think he had more. I don't think he was an evil man so much as just he was a child. Yeah, he was a child.
Savile. This is getting pretty dark.
You brought up Jackson Manson.
Let's moonwalk back on track. So, with the parents spooked, teachers started to freak out themselves. So what do they do next? They call in Africa's foremost UFO investigator at the time, Cynthia Hind. Rest in peace.
She died?
She was called to investigate, and as she arrived the next day, I mean, that's pretty quick.
Well, to be fair, if you called me and I took a day to get to yours, I don't think that would be the quickest.
If you're the foremost UFO investigator...
I am.
Then your schedule must be pretty booked.
It is, but I'd be there. Because I'm good.
Well, before she got there, she asked the head of the school, Colin McKay, to get the children to draw what they'd seen. When she got there, she had about 35 pictures waiting for her, and they all seemed to show similar objects.
You better have these drawings after saying that.
I do not have any of these pictures.
You dick. You can't talk about pictures. New rule. You can't talk about pictures unless you have said pictures.
If you'd like to scroll down, you can see some of these pictures.
You swine.
Can you describe what you see in these 6 pictures, please?
Okay. So the first picture has a group of trees with an incomprehensibly small gap between the trees that a UFO appears to have landed within. I don't know how it's managed to fit into the gap, but it certainly can't get out now it's in it. It's your typical disc UFO with like the bubble in the middle and feet to land.
Mm-hmm.
It's grey, silvery. The next picture is some swings, and again what appears to be a disc-shaped UFO with the typical bubble in the middle. So your standard flying saucer. It's red for some reason. Maybe that's the only crayon colour that the child had left. He's not, or she's not fully managed to colour between the lines, but I'll let that pass. The next picture has a grey. It's a bit of a strange looking grey. He's got no waist, or she, that's got to be a female. Well, actually, they might not have human genitalia. There's no todger, I can say that much, in the groin area where you would expect to find a schlong
Although they
on a
did say
human.
they're wearing a kind of suit.
Yeah, but that's tucked up so high, look. Have you ever seen an elderly man walk past and his trousers are up
really
around his boobs
hoist them.
and his belt is literally around his nipples, so you can kind of see the full bulge. The alien is wearing that exact outfit and there is no lumps and bumps. Very square shoulders, could be a rugby player. And there's also another disc-esque ship, not too dissimilar to the first picture, mixed with the second picture actually. It's kind of the bubble bit with, it's at a side-on angle, so you can't really see how far out the bit underneath the bubble comes. The fourth picture, can you read the writing there? Because I literally can't read that. It looks like it says fungus to me.
I can't.
If there's a child called Fungus Monogry, then that's an awesome name. I'm a fungi. Again, we have a saucer with legs to land, quite consistent with certainly 2 of the other 3 images. Then we have the... Okay, this is getting quite interesting. The next picture is, again, a saucer that has landed in the middle of some trees that it doesn't look like there's space to get in, but it's got in. And there is what looks like the same kind of grey, only we can see his butt rather than his face. Yeah, there's some consistencies here. And then the last picture... What the hell is that? It looks like a fat Michael Jackson. Hold on, let me just get a closer look. Okay, it's got some writing on it. At the top, there's an arrow pointing to the eye that says big black eyes. Cheers for that. There's an arrow to mouth. I can't read it all. It says mouth out.
Mouth not seen properly.
Mouth not seen properly. And the last one, it's got arrows to the body, and there's also another saucer on the far side of the photo.
I think that reads... body smaller than humans.
I thought it said similar to human, but regardless, we get the message. But the fact there's an arrow to the eye that says eye, and there's an arrow to the mouth that says mouth.
Do you think these kids have seen Kung Pao?
Slight side story, mentioning no names. One of our mutual friends was once staying at my home and got really, really, really drunk. And we decided it'd be funny, whilst he was asleep, to take a pen and draw, or in fact write the word ear on his cheek with an arrow to his ear, mouth on his other cheek with an arrow to his mouth. We put what do we put on his head? A coriander?
Yeah, a grass Hawaiian skirt, a lampshade.
A lampshade, yeah.
Couple of saucepans, coloured in the gap between his eyebrows.
I forgot about that one. And you tied his shoelaces together.
No, I didn't. I tied his legs together with 2 belts.
Same difference. He woke up in the morning. The first thing he did was fall straight forward because his legs were tied together. Then he went to the bathroom, looked at his face, rubbed off the arrow saying ear, I believe, off one side of his face. Didn't notice the other side of his face had mouth with an arrow to his mouth. He left mine, got on a train, trained all the way back home, went to play a football match, and it was only when he got to the football match and started taking his stuff off that his teammates pointed out that he had the writing everywhere.
This is the one they noticed.
Yeah.
We wrote on his back, insert here, and drew an arrow down to his butt crack. That's the one they noticed.
Good times. But yeah, when I look at that picture, that's what I think. I've still got the photos of that.
Have you?
Yep. I might post them.
So, in regards to these pictures from the children and their descriptions that they've told their parents and teachers, to be fair, we also know that with kids, they've always got to outdo each other.
Absolutely.
If one saw a man, the other one saw a man with hair. Mm-hmm. If that one saw one with hair, and the next one sees a man with hair and eyes. Hair and eyes. And it gets worse. The alien spaceship was originally a stone. We know how these things escalate.
So are you saying that it was actually a stone they saw? Or are you just saying it could be?
I'm saying it was probably a little kid sitting on a stone.
So I was actually feeling quite on the fence about this one. You just turned me to I'm not saying it was aliens.
But one little girl told Cynthia.
Oh, was that the investigator?
That's the investigator.
I was about to be like, who the hell is Cynthia? I need to know.
I swear on every hair on my head and the whole Bible that I'm telling the truth.
That kid is lying.
Because, so what makes you think that? The fact that the kid's bald or the fact they don't have a Bible?
To be honest, it's the Bible. The hair just fell out. But yeah, I've never known a child, bearing in mind I've worked with children in the past, I've never ever known a child to say anything of that nature when they're telling the truth.
You can imagine it, can't you? She says it, takes off her hat. She's got
a wig.
Empties a bag and there's only half a Bible in it.
The rest has all been cut up and there's drawings of people with bloody orifices everywhere.
Well, Dr. John Mack.
That's a solid name. Sorry, just sharing that. That's it's a powerful name, in fact.
Oh, according to Kev, Mac is a powerful name.
Mac Daddy John, in fact.
Dr. Mac,
Here
Daddy
comes
John,
the Mac in black.
An abduction researcher, and his associate Dominic Kalimanopoulos.
Kalimanopoulos.
That
Kalimanopoulos.
Mouthful.
Kalimanopoulos.
Kept showing off the fact that he could say it. Go on one more time.
Kalimanopoulos.
Went to Rua and interviewed and counselled 12 of the children and their parents. The older students said that they felt the visitors were communicating with them telepathically and had warned them that they were destroying our planet and polluting our planet in ways which will have dire consequences. Now, either these little kids spoke to a effing time-travelling alien...
A time-travelling Jackson Manson.
Or these kids are woke. Are they the original woke folk?
Dick.
I thought you noticed that the first time. I mean, if you look at the world at the moment and what's going on, these kids are spot on. They pulled their money together and put an accumulator on. 2020, Liverpool to win the title. Lionel Messi is still a beast. Conor McGregor to win in under a minute, and the world to go to shit. They've now cashed out and are the world's richest collective. They're about to fight the Illuminati.
I'm so confused by that section.
When Dr. Mac...
Just to be clear on how we do this show, the co-host has never seen the research notes until we do the show, and the host provides them as he's introducing them and explaining them. And I've got a really, really worrying at this point tendency to come out with a name that's coming up later in the show.
I've lost my shit. Totally forgot I wrote it. When Dr. McDaddy asked how they communicated, one child replied that the thoughts came from the man, from the eyes.
Ooh.
Those big black eyes that they all describe.
Telepathic. Yeah.
Like,
Marilyn Manson.
oh, what's it called? How am I having a blank on this? Genjutsu. How did I forget that?
That means nothing to me.
Yeah, will do. Use a Sharingan and place a Genjutsu on him. On Gekyo.
Nope. Talk about Harry Potter, I know that.
So, with what we have so far, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are, I want to talk about Harry Potter because I know that. I don't want to talk about Rengozi Otzi. Whatever the hell he said. Never heard of that before.
Genjutsu.
Yeah, Goatsy. So we've got a telepathic Jackson Manson alien.
That is true. That told the kids that
Conor McGregor was going to win a fight?
Humans are currently messing up the planet. And it will have dire consequences.
Okay.
And
well, that's kind of not groundbreaking. Of course, if you're messing up your planet, it's going to have dire consequences.
They also told them this in 1994.
We knew better than that in 1994. We were aware of global warming and warning of warming and the hole in the ozone layer. See, now, if this happened, and I'm not saying that it didn't, it probably didn't, but I'm not saying that it didn't, but if it did, I feel like the aliens would have chosen more reliable people to retain the message than young school children in Zimbabwe? And they would have had a more profound message than, you're going to mess up the planet. Cheers, guys. Thanks. Groundbreaking.
Now, this is all the information I could find out about that day. But...
Ooh, there's a but. There's a but.
I have found an interview with some of the children since they've grown up. And this is one that grabbed me.
By the testicles.
I'd like to credit the staff writer of Mail and Guardian, Africa's Best Spread. 4th of September.
That's a nice touch, that.
2014.
Africa's Best Red.
In a small bar in Rua, the reporter, who isn't named, so I shall refer to them as Roger.
It's always an R name. Always.
Has tracked down a child from the encounter called Sarah. Fake name, obviously. Smart move.
Smart. Can I just interject at this point and say that in this day and age, not enough people are calling their child Roger? Roger's a good name. When was the last time you met a younger kid called Roger?
Would you call your child Roger?
Hell no! I'd call my kid Elton.
That's true. Still need to do that.
You need to call yours something first. You know the deal.
That is true.
Captain.
I'd do it. I would.
Do it then.
I haven't had a kid yet.
You're closer than me.
But when I do, that child will be named Captain Chisholm.
Your partner is gonna
Just so
be
you
less
can
than happy.
Elton. They don't have to know.
The name of their child? I think
can,
she does.
Nip down to wherever you get register the names.
Deed poll.
Just quickly.
Do it online. But you do need a signature.
Captain Chisholm. Signed. Sealed. Delivered.
I'm yours. So, Africa's best read.
Back to Sarah.
Smart.
She thinks of the 110 children and adults involved, she's probably the only one left in the country.
Where did the rest go?
They've all effed off to Canada, Britain, or died.
I love that the next part was answering my question.
Yep. When it became clear to the other patrons that they were talking about UFOs, eyes started to roll and people started to mumble, Christ, not ET again.
You need a voice.
Is this South Africa? It
Zimbabwe. It is Zimbabwe.
Christ, not ET again.
Yours is better than mine, damn it. I want to do Australians again.
She ignored them. Now to me, this sounds like someone that's been through some shit. You know when you see in a film, someone's tracking down an old army vet or something, they're in a bar, they're drunk, they've been talking for years, but no one ever really takes any notice and just thinks that they're crazy.
Yeah.
But they've been clocked on the whole time. She continues, what do you want to know? Actually, it'll be easier if I just shoot. Sounds really masculine. It happened, okay? 62 kids saw the aliens land and get out of the little ships. When the kids returned to class, they were freaked out and couldn't stop talking about the little men. The little men looked like Michael Jackson.
You started to get Zimbabwe Russian at the end.
I know.
I don't even know how to do that.
Even do I. My impressions are terrible.
That was amazing. That's the best voice you've ever done.
So later on, Shara was...
Sarah!
Later on, Shara was shown video. So later on, Sarah was shown video from other interviews. When it finished, she said this. You want to know the real message?
Yes.
The real message is that this stuff can brand you for life.
Brand you? Jesus.
It undermined Mac's credibility, became this huge unending thing for others, and it certainly f***ed me up. I mean, try telling people that you live in permanent fear of these things. That voice is going so off key, it's unreal.
I don't know. It starts so good and then it starts gradually turning Russian.
I think it's because the more I have to say, the
You get tempted to
worse
roll
it
your
gets.
R's.
I really
And
do.
then it starts going off from there.
Alright, I'm going to start from this line. Try telling people that you live in permanent fear of these things. Returning one day, try telling them that you can actually sense when they're back in the atmosphere. They'll think you're a kook. All this lot do, she said, casting mock angry eyes down the bar at a fellow boozer, who raised his glass and said, True, but we love you anyway. Roger then claims that a look of deep sadness entered Sarah's eyes after this. So Kev, I know where I sit on this case. How about you? P.S. If we don't agree, you need to get up and leave.
You've not really given me much other than school children drawings and one drunk person in a pub.
I also gave you the fact that whenever you watch a film and there's an old grizzled vet that is always banging on about crazy shit, people don't believe them, and they're always right.
You also told me that school children try to outdo each other and that a
Generally?
stone becomes a UFO.
Never said always. It's a general roundabout. Just making an observation.
I feel like I need more to this. I can't really... I'm not saying it was aliens at this point. I'm not saying that it definitively wasn't aliens. What I'm saying is that I don't have enough to say that it was. That makes sense? What are you looking at that for, fool?
But was it aliens?
It was not. I am not saying that it was aliens at this time. At this time, I am saying that it was not alien.
I have no idea what that voice is.
I do not like when you mock my voice. Mocker.
I'm just putting out an apology right now. For
You started the voice.
terrible voiceovers here.
We truly mean no offence by our voiceovers.
No.
If anyone would like to send us footage of them taking the mick out of our voices, I would absolutely love it. Hello, you're listening to But It Was Aliens.
The bloody podcast. So, are you saying it's not aliens?
I'm not saying that it was aliens. Apologies. I feel like there's potential, but no.
I'm not saying it was aliens either. Although, it's just this bit from Sarah. That's the only bit that is swaying me towards it being aliens. The
I
fact
understand.
that someone is still...
Protecting their identity, but then is that because they want the story out there, but they don't want to be taken the piss out of for it, rather than protecting their identity?
Possible, but at the same time, they sound so kind of messed up over it.
But that's only one person. We don't have any evidence that the other 31 children were dead or relocated. All we've got is one crazy person's story and the pictures.
And the crazy people are normally right. I'm vouching for this crazy person here. I'm vouching. But it wasn't aliens.
You're vouching for them yet disagreeing with
Yes.
them. Is that even possible?
It is.
But yeah, I'd just like to make a point about the pictures. Some of them do look very similar, but
If
if you asked 100 children to draw a flying saucer,
draw UFOs.
a lot of them are going to look very similar.
And we don't know if they asked the children to draw what they saw or if they asked the children to draw UFOs.
That's a good point.
Because it, like you said, if you just told a kid to draw a UFO, they would draw.
The most interesting thing about the pictures for me was the fact that a couple of them showed a ship stuck between trees. That was a little bit unusual. But then the other pictures weren't consistent with those ones.
Rather than the hilly brush.
Yeah, precisely. And also, who was very big in pop culture at that time? Michael Jackson.
Exactly.
That picture does not really look that much like Michael Jackson. It's
No, it
like
really
rotund with long hair.
And then two of the aliens are bald.
Yeah, the more I look at it, yeah, I'm pulling its pieces here.
Are you moonwalking away from this one?
I'm walking away. Are you moonwalking?
I am Moonwalker, and I am saying this is not aliens.
I'm Moonwalker, and I'm moonwalking. I don't know why I started talking like that, but I did.
Neither. So,
So,
we have ascertained that this is not aliens.
once you start doing that voice, it's so tempting to continue.
Go for
Just
it.
can't stop.
Give it-
I just want to do it all the time. It is a fun voice to talk with.
That is not the way this voice goes.
I do not give a ass.
Suck a dick! Thank you for taking the time to listen to this week's file.
Talking to me or the audience?
Both. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this week's file and the podcast in general.
Indeed.
You can follow us at But It Was Aliens Podcast on Instagram,
Yeah.
But It Was Aliens on Twitter,
Yes.
or if there is a visit you would like us to hashtag
Bro.
you can visit us at butitwasaliens@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you see in your day-to-day that you think could be aliens?
Son. There's all sorts of things I see in my day-to-day that I think that could be aliens.
If you have anyone in your life that tells you that aliens communicate with them, hashtag pro. Peace.
Out.
Motherlickers!
You ever drunk Baileys from a shoe?
Test that. I'll play back. I'm a suck a f***ing dick. Is that really the first thing that came to your head?